Let's explore autistic history and the Autism Wars. This is part 70. Where are we at? 9. We're at 79. This is part 79 of a series. Alright, I left off with sharing some history on applied behavior analysis that was published on the Autism History Project on uoregon.edu. It is available as we speak if you'd like to look up that resource for yourself. But I finished most of it, but the last 2 paragraphs. So I'm going to share these, and then I'm going to jump over and share a little bit more about Ivar Lovaas from the Wikipedia entry and talking about, his process. Okay, here we go. Behavioral approaches have the distinction of being independent of all theories about the origin of autism. Advocates did not attempt to free autistic children from their condition for 2 reasons. First, behaviorists were skeptical that a unified disease called autism had been scientifically established. In spite of compelling clinical descriptions like those offered by Leo Kanner, Kanner. Second, their philosophy allowed for no reservoir of individuality locked inside the bodies of children with autism, waiting to be liberated by the right cure. Right? So for behaviorists, working with affected children was more like a construction project and constructing human beings until taking one tiny practical step after another. If human status and belonging existed anywhere, they existed in responses to the social environment. In Ivar Lovaas's words, that entrusted teachers, parents, and others with the task of building a person where little had existed before. So this way of thinking provided a stark alternative to both the psychogenesis that dominated thinking about autism until the mid-60s. Remember, this is Bettelheim versus Rimland, Autism Wars in the 60s, that throw out the refrigerator mother's theory. And the neuroscience that came later. ABA was founded on a paradigm that advocates believed offered optimism, where others had offered only pessimism and failure. So here we go, hope. All these have a carrot of hope everyone's chasing. And families are busting their banks trying to fund it too. So let's take a deeper look at Ivar Lovaas's information on Wikipedia before we wrap up this little bubble of history. Alright, so he was born in May 1927, and passed August 2nd in 2010, and he was a Norwegian-American clinical psychologist and professor at University of California, Los Angeles. And he is most, as we know, well known for his research on what is now called applied behavior analysis, or ABA, to teach autistic children through prompts, modeling, and positive reinforcement. It also notes here, the therapy is also known for its use of aversive punishment to reduce undesired behavior. However, these are now less commonly used than in the past. Alright, and Lovaas, as we know, founded the Lovaas Institute and co-founded the Autism Society of America, and is considered a pioneer of ABA due to his development of discrete trial training and controversial early intensive behavioral intervention for autistic children. His work influenced how autism is treated, and Lovaas received widespread acclaim and several awards during his lifetime. And more recently, his approach has been criticized as a violent form of autistic conversion therapy. That fucking fly. Sensory speaking, that's the worst thing. Do not land on my skin. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me see if I can get him to go away, and then we'll get right back. Alright, so I'm going to gloss over some of this. He graduated from high school, or after graduating from high school, Lovaas served in the Norwegian Air Force for 18 months and was a forced farm worker during the 1940s Nazi occupation of Norway, and often said that observing the Nazis had sparked his interest in human behavior. Alright, so he graduated from Luther College in 1951 after just 1 year with his BA in sociology. He received his Master's of Science in Clinical Psychology from the University of Washington in 1955, and his PhD in Learning and Clinical Psychology from the same school 3 years later. It says here, in his early career, Lovaas worked at the Pinel Foundation, which focused on Freudian psychoanalysis, and after he earned his PhD, he took a position at the University of Washington's Child Development Institute, where he first learned of behavior analysis. He began teaching at UCLA in 1961 in their Department of Psychology, where he performed research on children with autism spectrum disorder at the school's Neuropsychiatric Institute. He started an early intervention clinic at UCLA called UCLA Young Autism Project, which provided intensive intervention inside children's homes. He was named Professor Emeritus in 1994. Lovaas also established the Lovaas Institute for Early Intervention. The acronym is LIFE, L-I-F-E, that provides interventions based on his research. Lovaas taught now prominent behaviorists such as Robert Kogel, K-O-E-G-E-L, Laura Schreibman, Tristram Smith, Doreen Granpeesheh, Granpeesheh, John McEachin, Ron Lee, Jackie Wynn, and thousands of UCLA students who took his behavior modification course during his 50 years of teaching. And as we know, he also co-founded what is today the Autism Society of America, ASA, published hundreds of research articles and several books, and received many accolades for his research. Due to this research, a number of school districts have adopted his programs. His work influenced how autism is treated. Next up, I'm going to talk about a 1987 study. In 1987, Lovaas published a study which demonstrated that following 40 hours a week of treatment, 9 of the 19 autistic children developed typical spoken language, increased IQs by 30 points on average, and were placed in regular classrooms. A 1993 follow-up study found that 8 maintained their gains and were indistinguishable from their typically developing peers, scoring in the normal range of social and emotional functioning. His studies were limited because Lovaas did not randomize the participants or treatment groups. This produced a quasi-experiment in which he was able to control the assignment of children to treatment groups. His manipulation of a study in this way may have been responsible for the observed effects. The true efficacy of his method cannot be determined, since his studies cannot be repeated for ethical reasons. A 1998 study subsequently recommended that EIDI programs be regarded with skepticism. In 1999, the United States Surgeon General said 30 years of research has demonstrated the efficacy of applied behavioral methods in reducing inappropriate behavior and increasing communication, learning, and appropriate social behavior, and he also endorsed the 1987 study. All right, more soon.